Good morning, everyone. This is Catherine from my hillside garden. Do you see that? Right now, it's 6:30 in the morning on May 3rd. It's 62 degrees out. And yesterday on my deck, it was 105.6. Now, the actual temperature yesterday was about 95 degrees. But on my deck, that's how warm it got yesterday. Considering that Sunday we had clouds, a little bit of drizzle, and about 47 degrees, that's a hard temperature change to take. But I think spring is here, and the 2 days of summer that we've already had may be gone for a few days. So I wanted to do my beginning of May walk around the garden, because a lot of things, as you can see by this picture, have come up and just look gorgeous. The deck is beginning to overflow. This is a few of my Matt Sweet cherry tomato plants, and those buds came out on Monday. So those are getting into the ground today. I just didn't have time to get them in there yesterday before work. I put up this little bit of a shade on the greenhouse just because it was going to be so brutal. But there are the rest of the tomatoes. There's the marigolds that I transplanted, and I have some New Zealand spinach in those back cups in that tray. We have the rest of the marigolds in the calendula. We have spring onions and dill and parsley going there. We have some flower sprouts and, can't read the labels from here, Brussels sprouts, Casper kale, and red kale going on here. We have some thyme in the cups. Oh, we lost one tomato plant, but there's another spare there. Some lettuce, and it looks like some parsley, and way in the back there's a couple of celeriac. I'm going to try and do a succession crop of that. These are the white onions. I believe they're called Ebenezer. They're sets that I'm planting up at the community garden this year. More brassicas. There's a little bit of everything. There's some kale, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. There's my celeriac that needs to get in the ground, along with some transplants. And here's some more broccoli, some dill in the back, and some of the calendula I transplanted. That's in the bigger greenhouse. Then in the small greenhouse, more tomatoes. These I'm growing for friends. So that's why they're at the height they are. They don't want to plant until the middle of May. Some pepper plants. We like the King Arthur, so that's mostly what I've planted. There's my celery and some more onions. More tomatoes, and more tomatoes, and there's some real basil. And here are the winter sown flowers that I transplanted the other day. Look, I do have peas. They're actually coming up in that container, so I'm glad about that. And for everyone whom I thought this was basil, it was not basil. Apparently, it's lettuce, so I'm sorry. As you could see, there is no label in that container. I have to get better about that. This one has volunteer sown lettuce in it, which I think was really neat to have that much pop up all over the place. So I'll be transplanting some of that out, and those little covers work great for that. And one other thing I do want to show you while we're over here. I haven't really planted well, actually I haven't planted anything here, but somebody planted a pea seed for me. So that was very nice. They took it out of the container and put it up here. So we'll see what happens with it. There's my tray of sunflowers for the sunflower challenge. So they'll probably stay there. They get a decent amount of sun, but when I have the umbrella down, which is what I have right now. Here's that pansy, and that's some apple mint I'm going to put in a container. Yesterday, while I was weeding, I found my mouse ear hosta, and it was in horrible shape in the ground, so I thought I'd take it out and transport it and transplant it. And I found little baby plants that were attached to it. So I figured, well, I'm going to give it a try and plant them up because they're really cute. This last one back here, I'm not sure if anything's going to happen with it or not, but I figured it couldn't hurt. Come over to the gutter garden. This is all that lettuce that I planted a few weeks back from the volunteers that are still in the deck garden. I keep taking a little here and there. And here are some more that I found in another spot. The red ones seem to be going a bit slower than the green ones are. So they're not quite as big. And then I just put these in the other day. They were from the seed that I collected. And this one was the light seed. And I think it might be speckles or freckles. I'm not sure. But I'm just happy to have collected seed. There's some more spring onion. I've been trying to do succession crops on those. This is my New Zealand, is it New Zealand? Yep, New Zealand spinach. It's finally started to come up, so I do have some of those plants. We have some regular spinach just over there. There are more spring onions, and there are my strawberries. So I'm so pleased that I will have some to plant this year. And then I also planted up some Kentucky bush Blue Lake. I thought they were pole beans, but they're bush beans. So those will go to my Zone 7 garden. Here's a quick look at all of the winter sown containers. Now, we did not have 100% germination on everything, which I wasn't expecting because some of them do have flowers that I wasn't sure it would work with, so cold and everything, but that's okay. We got some good flowers out of it. The thyme is coming back nice. That's been on the deck all season, all year. Here's some transplanted lettuce from another area in the garden. The cilantro is coming through. There's my French tarragon. I have some there in that pot and some in this one. And I knew the lemongrass would not come back. Coming around the deck garden, the peas are still there. They haven't grown very much. But I do think some of the seeds that I planted are coming up. Here's all of that lettuce that I'm getting for free from the seeds from last year. Happy about that. Here's my red vein sorrel. Biddy Bunny had eaten some of that almost down to the ground. Came back nicely. We have some volunteer corn salad growing over there. And actually, it volunteered itself in that pot, so I have to transplant it because I like to have that. Here's the German chamomile, so I was pleased to see that that came back on its own. Over here in this garden, I've managed to weed a great deal, and I also divided some of the Stella d'Oro lilies and moved them around the yard. I have to look that one up. Is it Woodruff or Woodrow? Woodruff, I think it is. I have that as a ground cover up there to try and keep the weeds that just come from everywhere. Daffodils are finally starting to go over, and the peonies have come up. And on the right side of the little angel, that peony planted itself, so that must have come from seed. And here's the lettuce that I transplanted. That's doing very well here. There's the chives. Some more volunteer lettuce. We'll take that all day, every day. And the oregano has begun to come back. I was really concerned because it didn't look like anything was going to show through. More cilantro. I have a girlfriend that loves that, so I like to supply her with that. I've gotten the pots ready. We'll be putting cucumbers in those this year so they could climb the fence. Now we're going to come over to the wall garden, and because of the hot weather, take a look. Just about everything has bolted and gone to seed. So now I have to make a decision. I like to collect seed, so since the 7-top turnip, which is a volunteer one right there, and those just down there, you could just about see the blossoms right there. They're in flower, and I wanted to leave them out mostly for the bees to have something to go to at this time of year. However, the kale is also going to seed. The flowers have not opened up yet. That's what they look like. Oop. Get you in focus there. That's what they look like. Okay. And I really would like to save that seed, so I'm going to have to make a decision if I'm going to pull the flowers of the 7-top turnip or not. Because if I don't pull them, they'll probably cross. Down here we have some miner's lettuce that was actually sown, I believe, in the winter. Let's check the label. Did we put a date? Yes, February 22nd. So that's only recently just come up. We have some French breakfast radishes down here. The spinach is going. I've harvested one crop of that. I'll be pulling that out today, I think. Here's some miner's lettuce. This is the first time I grew this, and I just love the way it looks. The flowers are about to open, I believe. Or have they gone over? Maybe they've made... Oh, no, I think they've made seed. Let's see if we could get in there a little closer. They're making seed, so I want to do that here. I hope it's not going to cross. I don't think it will with the brassicas. But just such a neat looking plant. Great color and something for the bees. I transplanted some of the lettuce over here. There's some wild arugula. That's in this bed on purpose. And then will you look at these lettuce? These were winter sown. They lasted the whole winter as tiny little plants. But I'll be pulling them today because I'm afraid that they're going to bolt as well from the 2 days of super hot weather that we had. Oh, potatoes. Here are my potato buckets. Someone was digging in that one. And we have very little going on, but they are coming through. I am so pleased that they're coming through. So, and you can see there, they're getting ready to come through on that one. Getting ready to come through on this one. And this one I've covered once already, so I will be throwing some more dirt in there today. Isn't it just amazing how busy you get at this time of year and everything is coming up and there's so much to do? I do believe this video will be 2 halves because it'll just be too long for me to try to download. But here are my pak choi. Those were tiny little things. They look like this for the longest time. And then on Monday in the evening, they already began to look like actual pak choi. Here's the row of spinach I planted. Here are those parsnips where I thought the seeds were no good. I just think this is totally awesome that these came up as nice as they did. but they definitely need to be thinned out. So I may even try to transplant some. I don't know if you could do that at this stage or not, but we'll see what happens. We had no little gem lettuce germinate, so I know those seeds were too old. Here's some sparkler radishes and Hamburg parsley root. I have another girlfriend that really likes that. And I didn't think the dill was going to germinate because that sat out quite a while. I believe I did these in February also. But if you look very closely all along here, that looks like dill to me. I think I might have some weeds in there too. Oh no, these are actually calendula. They volunteered themselves there because I know I had some planted here last year. Here are my King Richard leeks. So they seem to be happy where they're at. So I hope they do well. This was a corn salad that came up on its own here. And a mosquito. Ugh. Oh, I love bugs. So there's some of the lettuce that I put out. We grew that in the grow room. And I just put it in here. It's doing rather well. Some more onions. I had planted out some for baby greens. I actually have a mosquito by me right now trying to bite me. I can't take it. We also have daikon radish. I have another girlfriend that loves those. I love growing stuff for people. And we have some Autumn King carrots. Those are the ones that I got from Victory Seeds, so I'm really pleased about that. I can't wait to try them. We do have a couple of peas that came up here. I was hoping to have this whole square filled with them, so I'm not sure what happened to the rest of these guys. This one just came through. Oh, and it looks like there's another one here, so maybe there's still hope. Here's some Walla Walla onions, and then I have my Quick Start cabbage. There's also some watermelon radish and some yellow carrots, Yellowstone carrots there. And more lettuce.